before we get into who Eric is, I want to give a shout out to, and even though he's no longer with us, Gabriel Fernandez, if I'm correct.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get it wrong. Can you put up his picture up there on the screen? He passed away 2013. It's been 9 years. And I never forgot this child. And I don't want anybody to forget him either. And that's his picture up there. May he rest in peace. He was the one that was brutally killed by the stepfather and the mom.
Was he the kid somewhere in the desert area?
Like in the valley area.
In the valley, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Jorge, he's another journalist. He's actually out on the border and reporting from the Uvalde school shooting right now. So shout out to my boy Jorge Ventura TV. If you guys want to learn more about that, he's out there right now. But he told me about this kid, and there's actually a mural of him out there in
yes,
I think it's Palmdale.
Gabriel Fernandez.
He talked to me a little bit about that. That there's actually, I think, even like a Netflix documentary about.
Oh
him.
man, you know what? Let me tell you something.
But from what he described, it was really brutal. What happened to that little boy?
It was very, very brutal, man. And I never want anyone to forget this little boy. I have children and I have grandchildren. So to think that something like this could have been done to this child, man, it's really, really heartbreaking. And I literally had to turn off the documentary like several times. When I say several, at least 5 or 6 times, I'll watch it again. I literally had to wait a couple more days before I had the guts to play it again, because I'd just stop and I'd call my buddy, you know. And I'm gonna be 100 with you. I'm not a guy that cries a lot, bro. But with this documentary, I couldn't stop, man. And I just told my boy, I said, man, this thing is killing me, bro. I said, I don't know how you finished it. But I just want to say, you know, Gabriel Fernandez, you know, may he rest in peace, and he's never forgotten.
Definitely, rest in peace to Gabriel.
You know, and also I want to bring up those children that were killed by this 18-year-old kid from Texas.
From Uvalde, yeah. I've actually been to Uvalde. It's not super close to the border. I want to say it's like over 100 miles away from the southern border.
Yes.
But I've been to Uvalde because a lot of the border activity just stretches all the way up there. So as soon as I heard Uvalde, and I was like, oh man, like I spent some time out there. So, and it's a really, Texas, as we all know, it's really massive, you know, very spread out, a lot of that, but all of the little towns and, you know, the little barrios all around, they're really tight knit, you know, like sometimes it's like a few hundred people in one town, so everyone knows each other. Everyone's probably been there for generations and their family. So it's when something like this happens in like a small area, small town Texas, it has a huge ripple effect in Texas.
Yes, and he's bringing up the picture of these children right here. May they rest in peace. And I encourage everybody watching to please hold their families in prayer, because, you know, I don't know if you have any children.
I know. I have 3 nieces though. And
okay.
I see them kind of as my own kids because, you know, seeing them grow up and all that stuff. You know.
Yeah, you love them. I have children and I have grandkids, and I'll be 100 with you. And I believe I speak for all families. If anything ever happened to any of my kids, I wouldn't want to live anymore, bro. I wouldn't want to bury my grandkids or my children. I wouldn't want to. So I can't even imagine what these families are going through. So during this sensitive time, I want everyone to please take the time and at least don't just say my prayers and my condolences, but really pray for, you know, for what this tragedy that this family is going through, you know. See, out here in LA, because I one thing I do know is LA Unified School District. You can't get into the school unless you have the fence, okay? Mm-hmm. But if you go through the front, you have to check in with security there. ID, who are you here for? Who are you going to see? There's a little procedure. So I don't know how this kid, 18-year-old kid, got in there and just chose a classroom and just started shooting.
I don't know how he got in exactly into that school, but I just know that. So the first person he shot and killed was his grandmother. That's the first person he shot, and then he fled, and he was being chased by a border patrol agent, who I guess was the nearest law enforcement around.
Wow.
So at first, people thought it was like a whole like border patrol chasing a undocumented person, but it was just from what I've seen so far, it was like that was just the only available form of law enforcement that's the closest. So after he shot and killed his grandma, he fled in a pickup truck. I think it was like a Ford F-150 or something like that. And Border Patrol chased him. He crashed the truck, and that's how he went into the school. So then the Border Patrol like followed him in there. But that's some of all from the how it all started, you know.
Yeah, and then I believe he killed a teacher, or did he kill?
He killed a teacher, and I think the death toll right now is 18, maybe 19.
Okay.
Yeah, as it stands.
Okay. Wow, it's just terrible. Now, here's the thing. Once again, to me, it's just odd, and I also want to say to keep the families in prayer of the people that were lost in Buffalo.
Exactly.
With the other guy, and I believe he was targeting black people.
Yeah, that's what I've heard a few times too. That he might have specifically like wanted to target an area that was more like populated by minority groups. That's what I've heard that a couple times as well.
Now, you know, here's my thing, and if I'm correct, this guy was recording it because I saw the video.
He was, I think I saw the video once. I'm not gonna tell you where to look for it or anything like that, but sometimes those videos get shared, and you know, curiosity. I'm like, I want to see how this played out. And he was streaming from Twitch, something like that. I think it was Twitch, and he just, I don't know if he logged off or what, but at one point the video just cuts off. Because
when I saw it, and my son sent it to me, it literally looked like a video game.
Like a first-person shooter, right? Like Call of Duty or Halo or something like that?
Exactly, exactly. All you see is the gun, and then you see these people laying down. And the moment that I knew it was real is when he shot out the window.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So I stopped and I told my son, you know, what is this? And he said, that's that Buffalo shooting. And this guy was literally killing these people, these harmless people, like the video game. Shot them, they fall down and shoot them on the head while they're in the ground. Another 18-year-old kid, okay? He was 18 as well, just like this guy in Texas. Now, here's my thing, and I don't want to start no race war. I don't.
Neither. That's the thing that this shouldn't be what any of this should be made out to be.
Right.
War, you know.
But here's one kid in Buffalo. He gets arrested, white kid, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know what this other kid, I'm assuming he's Latino in Texas.
Yeah, because his last name is like Hispanic sounding.
Yeah. He gets killed, you know, and again, you guys do the math, I'll leave it at that.
That area is actually a park right on the border on the Texas side. And that night there was
okay, leave that picture up there.
There was a heavy rain. I mean, on top of it being the South in Texas, humid as fuck. You know, like I was in the rain, I was sweating. That's how humid it was. Okay. But it rained so much that the park was flooded. So all the grass was pretty much just like a huge puddle of water. And that little boy, he was just lying down on the wet grass. All of them were just like laying down on the wet grass. All of them exhausted. He wasn't. I talked to him in that whole position at the same time. He was that tired, he couldn't move.
So you just walked up to him, and
I just walked up to him, and I was just like, "Mijo, like, where are you from?" He didn't speak any English, obviously, but I was just asking him, like, "Mijo, where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Honduras. My name is Hector, and I was like, "How old are you?" He's like, "I'm 8." And I was like, "Are you here alone? Like, where's your mom and your dad?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here alone, but I don't have a mom and a dad. The person taking care of me in Honduras is my tia." And he's like, "But she didn't want to take care of me anymore because she wanted to start a new life in Spain. So she paid for basically like his travel to come up to the U.S. because she just didn't want to work take care of him no more. So I guess in her mind she saw like, well, I'm just gonna make sure you get it to America so that you have a better life up there, while I go just start a new one in Spain, in España." And like, man, like that plastic bag he has, like I think there was like some. He didn't show me or anything like that, but a lot of the kids sometimes had like a little plastic like grocery bag or a little backpack, and it was like basic documentation with like their name, kind of like a birth certificate or something like that. And it was just harsh, man. Just like seeing kids like that, just lying.
So he was just there by himself, no family. His tia, his aunt wanted to go start a new life. I guess probably some dude maybe in.
I can only assume so. You know what I mean?
In Spain. I'm going to pay pretty much for your coyote to get you across. Mm-hmm. At 8 years old, start your new life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is another thing that I like to tell people is that I get it. The whole thing about letting people in because they want a better life and they want a better future. And one of the reasons why I'm against the whole open border thing is that I hear a lot of people say, like, mainly raza, because this is such a sensitive issue towards raza and Latinos, is that everyone says, oh, just let everyone in, let them all in. And I'm like, okay, well, when they come in, then what happens?
Yes.
You know what I mean? No one, as far as the conversations I have with people, no one can elaborate past that point. Right. I'm like, okay, let's say, just for example, 100 people come over and they're in San Diego or Texas, okay, what's the next step then? Where do they go? Do they just stay there? Do you let them stay at your place? Do they have a job somewhere? Is there shelter? Is there a pathway to citizenship? Like, what is it? And a lot of people also do like advocate for that stuff, for like a pathway to citizenship and for help. But generally speaking, a lot of people just say, let them in. And then they just kind of like end the conversation right there. And like the thing is that in that part of Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley, it's mostly Mexican people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, they're the ones literally, like, they were telling us, it's like, man, like, we don't like what's happening here because, again, because I didn't like what I saw. They're like, they have these little farms out there, they're like all pretty tight-knit communities. They're kind of distant from the big cities, and they're like, I'm finding kids, like just abandoned kids on my property. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with like the people running across my little ranch, in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know who they are. It's like, like they're all like, so like, again, I have to say that I'm against illegal immigration for very particular reasons. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they're also, you do have to take into account that there are people that live in these areas where this is a really huge issue, and they're trying to voice their concern. And they're the ones saying, like, there's some guy loading up people in the back of a pickup truck, and like why is that happening? Like, why is it happening? Why is like a group of 10 kids just walking in the middle of the night, like down the neighborhood, like stuff like that? So,
okay, this kid Hector came from Honduras. He's got no family here.
No family. He didn't tell me he knew anyone. Let me read you some of the numbers because.
Let's save that because we're about to go to break.
Go ahead.
But before we go to break, I just want to touch a little bit on this boy right here. So, I know it's going to be a rhetorical question, but the best that you can elaborate, okay? So he made it on this side. He's 8 years old. What's his next move?